In every race, there's a moment where you ask yourself, can I keep going? A moment when you're sore, your tank's empty, and the finish line feels like a million miles away. It's in these moments champions are made. A fight, art, a brotherhood. Everything we've already shown. That will take us to where we want to go.
You're looking for your legacy moment as a young quarterback, revitalizing a franchise that has been desperate for success.
The rookie, the Michigan man. Tough physical brand of football. Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington! Unreal one by the Wolverine!
With seconds remaining.
So keep your foot on the gas. We're not done yet.
The Commanders were one of the best, if not the coolest story of the season.
The burgundy and gold is back out everywhere you look. One of the biggest surprises of the young NFL season, the Washington Commanders moving in the right direction.
Command Center Game Day Live is presented by SeatGeek, the official primary ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders. Find tickets to Commanders games and more. SeatGeek. Live from the NFC Championship in Philadelphia is your host, Brian Colbert Jr., joined by Super Bowl champion Brian Mitchell and Mr. 8 to the 9, Santana Moss.
Welcome into Command Center Game Day Live. It's the NFC Championship. We out here at Lincoln Financial Field where the Washington Commanders are getting ready to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. The winner of this NFC East battle, fellas, earns a trip to the Super Bowl. Brian Colbert Jr. here with future Hall of Famer Brian Mitchell and Mr. 8 to the 9 Cowboy Killer Santana Moss. And fellas, we here, baby.
We here.
The music is on, the DJ blasting, but it don't matter because the energy is high. How important is this B-Mitch? Last time we were in the NFC Championship was 1991. How big is this moment for these fans?
It's a huge moment. I mean, it's huge for the fans because they've been waiting on it. It's huge for the players because they did the work to get there. It's huge for the whole community. I mean, you got to understand, they've been waiting a long time, and it's been some ups and downs. You know, you had great guys come along like Tanner. You had other games and seasons that weren't that good. But the ultimate thing is they kept at it. The fans stayed with them, and they're back. Today is 33 years from when we won the Super Bowl, and I think it's a special moment today.
Yeah.
We're going to go out there and get back on that train like we're supposed to be.
That's what's up, man. I mean, it's big and huge to me. I think when you look at it from the scale of just understanding, like, everybody's not promised this. You know, everybody don't get this chance. I was just talking to someone, and I'm like, look, man, I played for 14 seasons, and I went to the second round 3 times out of those 14 years. To have this opportunity now to be covering this team, being an analyst, and to be here, I feel like I'm a guy that, hey, it's my time. You know, I've waited for so long. I'm here now. So, man, it's huge for the fans. It's huge for guys like myself. It's huge for the city, man. Let's bring this W home. That's all I'm worried about.
And I think everybody feels that way. We're here now, man. We're here. And it makes it even sweeter when it's a division rival.
Yes.
When it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, B-Mitch, you're familiar with both teams. You played some time in Philly, but you don't got no love for Philly. It's all love for that burgundy and gold, man. Talk about what this rivalry means, especially when you get into an NFC Championship contention.
Well, the thing about it, when you go and you play a team twice, you know them, they know you.
Yeah.
And then when you get to this game, this is how those rivalries are built where you don't like people. Okay? We talk a lot about rivalries all this time, but when you start knocking a team out the playoffs to go to the Super Bowl, then you really start to get that disdain for them. Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of those type of games where, you know what? Philly might look at New York. They look at Dallas. Knock them out the playoffs today. They're going to hate you. You'll be the number 1 hated team by that football team. But it comes down to who's going to keep their calm. Who's going to be Jaden Daniels? That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because Jaden Daniels is the calmest guy I've ever seen on the football field. Who's going to have it like that today?
Go ahead.
So Jaden Daniels cooler than the other side of the pillow. Now, fellas, it's crazy to say this, but we are one of 4 teams left in the NFL playoffs. So let's take a look right now at those 4 teams. Of course, we're playing the Philadelphia Eagles today. Game kicks off at 3 p.m., but then at 6:30 on CBS, Bills versus the Chiefs. The winner of that Bills versus Chiefs game will be taking on us in the Super Bowl. Because you know what we're going to do today. Fellas, it feels so good to be out here. This is so incredible. But since we are out here, let's take a look at our team right now out on that field. This look is given to you by Verizon. Verizon, the network commander fans, and you can rely on right there. You're seeing that man, Jaden Daniels, poised and calm. He is ready for this game, just like we are ready for this game. And you know what? It's time to talk about some of these unforgettable moments we have had so far this season. Brought to you by Lansdowne Resort. Discover yourself. Now, a moment that we will never forget is last Sunday night. The 6 seed Commanders. That's right, we were the 6 seed. We traveled up to Detroit, who was the number 1 seed in the divisional round, and we beat them 45-31 very convincingly. Washington took control of the game early. A big night for the Commanders defense, who forced 5 turnovers, including 2 interceptions from rookie Mike Sanderson and a pick 6. His first pick 6 from Quan Martin. Washington winning his 2nd road playoff game in single postseason for the first time in franchise history. A lot of firsts here. And you know what? Since we're having so much fun, we had to bring in our guys over in the studio. I'm talking Fred Smoot and Sean Springs. They out there.
I don't see Sean in the studio.
It's a little dark over there, but I know they're there somewhere. Smile for us, Sean. Take it away.
It's my smile. That's all.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, yes, Sean Spriggs, Fred Smith, the former DB tandem back in the day here with this franchise. Let's just start with this. What does this mean for the franchise and the fan base, Fred?
It means everything for this city. This city has been down 33 years since they've had a chance to really bring everybody back together. You talking about having a youth movement and bringing back the older fans when we had the opposite name, bringing everybody. It changes how people treat each other on a day-to-day basis. It means everything to this era.
You mean your neighbors like you now?
My neighbors actually dropping cookies off at the door.
That's part of it.
Yeah. So to make it wrong, it's just one of those things where you don't know how much sports can mean to a community until you see stories like this happen.
And another thing we forget, that it was an organization that was just not liked, and then there's so much uncertainty with the new organization coming in. So now the fans are like, what are we getting ourselves into? So now we got a team that we can be proud of. We have a franchise quarterback. We have an organization that's out in the community. Players are coming back. Alumni, everybody's excited about it. So it means a lot for the community.
With that being said, what does it mean for the players, the teams, the guys in that locker room? What do you guys think is going through their minds?
In a life moment. As the great artist and great poet Eminem said, you got one moment to make it blow. This is it. Like me and Sean played 100 years combined in NFL. Neither one of us got to this level. Santana played. B. Mitchell's the only one that got to this level. That shows you how the years in between that you get a chance to do something special like this. Put it like this, Jack. These next 3.5 hours can change everything in the DMV. It's that serious.
And when you think about the free agents, you think about Zach Ertz, who's played and went to Super Bowls, and you think about Bobby Wagner, 2 guys that stick out to me. This is why you bring those free agents here to Washington. So you know what? We might be a young team. It might be foreign to some people, but we can help you, lead you through to the promised land and the challenge that you're going to face in the playoffs and NFC Championship game. So I'm excited about it.
Think about this. NFC East has had this happen 4 times, and opponents from the same division play each other. The Commanders were the Redskins. They did it twice with the Cowboys, once against the Giants. First time against the Eagles. Eagles and Cowboys also played one another back in '80. Eagles, of course, won that, ended up losing the Super Bowl to the Raiders. But it's wild to think this team's going to get to play everyone in their division in the championship game with this game today. You had apparently somebody call you this week on the Get Loud message line. We got to hear this. What happened?
Come on. Let's hear it.
Smoot, Jinx,
Traveling,
Anna, Caleb. It's your boy, Traveling Jay. Guys, what another great week of football. This is amazing. Again, like I said last time, this is probably the greatest season that I can remember since '72, with the exception, again, of the Super Bowls. What a show up and show out they did tonight. I am flabbergasted. The way JD5, Jedi 5 played tonight was on point. Scary Terry's got that name for a reason. And JD was so on point. I mean, he had a couple errant throws, but he was under duress. But that one to De'Ami Brown, hell, the defender was playing peekaboo with him, and he dropped it right in the bucket like a perfect pass. I could not. I mean, I haven't sat down. Still, to this point, have not sat down. had a little party here. Had a good time. I just wanted to touch base with you on this. It wasn't a few weeks back. Kevin O'Connell was, the highest, the percentage of him possibly winning the Coach of the Year. There's no way they can't give it to Dan Quinn. I mean, what he's done, starting out with 40 new players on a team in 1 year, less than a year, and have them turn around and go into the NFC Championship game, regardless if they win or lose. If anyone else wins this award, it's rigged. That's all I can say. I am so proud of this team. I'm proud of the work that you guys do. I love you guys, and let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. What a great night, guys. Hope you're having fun. I'm having fun watching. And peace. Traveling Jay out.
Hey, listen, I love Traveling Jay. I enjoyed getting time to meet him when he came up. I gave him tickets to the suite. It was so fun. Great guy. He is the epitome of what a Washington fan is, baby. We are all in. That's why I don't even call it Washington, D.C. no more. I call it Washington District of Champions. D.C. stands for District of Champions. We've taken number 2 picks in all of the sports.
I've been on this journey for 20 years with these teams. And so when I see fans who've been waiting for a winner or fans who go way back and remember the Super Bowls, and now I see them with all the joy that they have, I'm like, man, you guys deserve it because it's been a long road to get back to where this franchise belongs. So Traveling Jay, all you Commanders fans out there, soak it up.
Hey, soak it up and enjoy it. You deserve it. We've been through some dark times, and I'm kind of responsible for some of them.
You were responsible.
Yeah, we would have went deeper in the playoffs if you actually made some plays, right?
But he brings up a good point, Traveling Jay. Dan Quinn, Coach of the Year, it's finally got a little bit momentum, but a lot of this is based on the regular season. That's when the voting takes place, unfortunately. But clearly, if you took the totality of it, what he has done in year one, you can't even compare it.
I'm not trying to take anything from Kevin McConnell. I thought he did a great job up there. Sam Darnold gave him a second resurgence in life. But I can say this, that Minnesota team was put together from the year before also, so he had that team a lot longer than our guy did.
Yeah, no question. Well, that's going to do it for now. From here, we'll send it back up to the lake. Stay warm, guys.
Shout out to Scott, Fred, and Sean back in Ashburn for joining the show and holding it down out in D.C. And you know what? Speaking of D.C., our community has held it down, not just all week, but all season. We got the command force pulling up. We got Major Tutty out there. We got Fred Smoot, the man of the people, out there. And it's all about the amazing things that are happening here with the Washington Commanders. Fans are excited. Fans are in love with the franchise again. And a lot of that has to do with Dan Quinn and Jayden Daniels, because it's been a historic season, fellas. This is one of our biggest seasons with accolades for our head coach and rookie quarterback. Jayden Daniels earned a nomination for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Daniels setting the record for most rushing yards by a rookie quarterback with 891 yards, and tied Ben Roethlisberger for most wins by a rookie quarterback in NFL history with 14 wins. And head coach Dan Quinn was named a finalist for AP Coach of the Year. Quinn is the first coach in franchise history to win 2 playoff games in his first season as Washington's head coach. Fellas, man, what a historic first season for both of these guys. First season as the head coach for Dan Quinn, first season playing for Jayden Daniels. Let's talk about JD5 a little bit, getting that honor. I mean, got to be the best rookie in the history of the NFL.
It sure seems like it, and I think he won with 11-12 Rookie of the Weeks. So that Rookie of the Year thing is in the bag already. But the thing about him is that he doesn't get satisfied by what he's done. He's always trying to work on doing the next thing, try to improve upon it so he wants to be perfect. We know nobody ever gets to it, but if you're pushing forward, you can get damn close. And I think that's what it's about. Everybody on this team knows their quarterback is a worker. And they're going to go out there and work the same way because they want to always be able to be there for him or to help him.
Man, that Kendrick turn on, I can't even sit still, brother. But speaking of, what Kendrick on, we talking to Cali kid Jayden. Have you seen a quarterback, especially so young, be so poised?
Not even a quarterback, a player his age. You know what I mean? Like when you come into this league, it's so much thrown at you. I was just talking to his mom earlier this weekend. She talked about how long this season has been. You got to think about everything he's been through. A long collegiate season. Then whatever you do with the bowl game, whatever you do with that when it comes to Heisman, he won the Heisman.
Yes.
Then you have to get drafted. Now he's here, and I remember at one point we was waiting. We was all sitting there like, is he going to hit that wall? And we saw that 3-game skid, and we was like, okay, this may be the wall, but there was a lot of other stuff going on. But he seems to have something going on with himself that he's just prepared. He's just ready for everything that's thrown at him, and so that's what speaks, volumes for me. Just seeing the guy withstand everything that's thrown at him and still go out there and dominate it.
This is his 23rd game.
It's crazy, man.
Preseason 3, regular season, and now his 3rd game in the playoffs. And he still looks fresh.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, we talk about that rookie wall, and a lot of people hit it. But there are always a few guys that come through this thing and it doesn't faze them.
With a bulldozer.
Because that's how they work. You know what I mean? That's just the way that they work and the work they put in. And the more I watch him, and the more I watch how people interact with him, tells me a lot about that young man.
Yeah.
Because mostly quarterbacks are kind of excluded from people mostly. And a lot of them take on that mantra and they become discarded by their team.
Yeah.
He's been invited in. And the relationship between he and Bobby Wagner is a special one. You got the veteran guy, the guy who's already going to the Hall of Fame, and the young guy who comes in and has played his ass off, okay? And he has a lot of hype with him. But Bobby is like, come on, little boy, you haven't done nothing yet.
Let's go.
And they laugh it off because it is sometimes that big brother, little brother, that relationship has to be presented.
And a guy like J.D. Fogg has to be a head coach's favorite toy, right? I mean, Dan Quinn comes in here, gets all these new players in, and just does such an excellent job in his first year at the helm. I've never seen a guy be able to galvanize an entire building, an entire fan base the way Dan Quinn has. Man, how impressive have you been with DQ?
I think you got I'm very impressed. I think when I watched him from afar, just knowing what he did, in Atlanta, knowing what he did in Seattle with that defense. So, look, we've been playing the Cowboys for years here, man. It's a known fact. That's our rivalry. But when he got there, that defense changed, and the Cowboys became a better team. So I've been watching, and I've been a fan. I've been like, that's a great coach. And to hear all the stuff that you heard so much about, he went to the championship game. He went. He took him there. Regardless if you win or lose, man, it's a tough task to get there. So I was elated when we got him as a head coach because I knew he was deserving of a second chance. But not only that, I knew he was going to change things. I just didn't know he was going to do it this soon.
But the thing about him is Dan is very much like he wants his players to be.
Yeah.
He don't want them to be satisfied. He wants them to learn stuff and add things to your repertoire. He learned a lot of the leadership things he's doing this year after he left Atlanta, okay? And he's presenting it. He found different ways to bring his team together, the things with the Navy SEALs, okay? Having the mind to go to Adam and say, look, we might need to go straight to Arizona, okay? They go to Arizona, and that team really talks about how they became one because they had to depend on each other. And those things like that. Then you got a coach who sits down in a one-on-one meeting room with his running back. Look, man, we believe in you. Don't listen to what you're hearing out there. Let me show you some stuff. And then B-Rob goes out against Detroit and have a good game. That man, he does everything he needs to do. Some coaches just coach. He's coaching. He's been a confidant. He's been a mentor. And he's also been that guy who just has to tell you sometimes, man, I love you. Come on, we need you. And I think when you have a coach that's willing to do all that, the players are going to always go out there and ball out for him.
Fellas, we have no doubt that Dan Quinn has these guys prepared like they've been prepared for every game this season. Let's hear from head coach Dan Quinn from the game plan where he talks about preparing for this Eagles matchup.
Does anything change? Do you have to message it differently, or the guys are just that locked in?
No, in fact, just that locked in to go, what should it feel like? And they said it feels like normal, and that's what I want them to feel like. The process of winning, what do you do on Monday? I'm going to tell the truth. What do you do on Wednesday and tomorrow and third, all the way through. So just stay in that preparation and that pocket of getting ready. And our team has like a joyful and intensity about us. They will go after you as hard as you can and kick your ass and then get up smiling and want to enjoy that part too. So there's this good blend that has both of those things together. They work really hard, but they also enjoy that time together. And that's what makes like this group so much fun.
That was your head coach, Dan Quinn, on the game plan, talking his preparation for this matchup with Philly. Now, it's not the first time these teams will meet. It's not the second time either. We played them twice. Week 10, we lost a tough one on Thursday Night Football. Saquon had 146 yards in that game. But in Week 16 at the crib, we got him 36-33. Despite 5 turnovers, our Washington overcame the Eagles' 27-14 fourth quarter lead to get the win and snap Philadelphia's 10-game win streak. Again, we are out here at the link. We are out here at Philly. Jaden Daniels, second time being out here. You are seeing our quarterback warming up right now, getting ready. And fellas, they say he don't like playing in the cold, but I don't believe that. He don't look cold at all. And you know what? This is one of my favorite parts of the show. It's time for Give Me 5, presented by UA Local 5 Plumbers, protecting the health of the nation's capital since 1890. B. Mitch, we're starting with you. This one is no surprise. Slowing down Saquon Barkley.
Well, what you got to do, make sure you have everybody in the right gap, have a man on the man. And I think for defensive linemen, give the running back a two-way go, not a one-way go. If you jump to one side, you are telling him where he needs to go. If you sit up there, he doesn't know, he starts to stutter a little bit, you allow some linebackers to come in and get tackled. The thing about Saquon, he is unbelievable. He's going to have some plays, but you got to grab on and hold on. That shoulder stuff, that form, that doesn't work for him. Grab him and allow somebody else to come put a hat on it.
Tanner, a tough test for our defense, but we have faced other really strong rushing attacks and found success. How can we find success today?
I think one of the things you just have to be disciplined. I think, what he was just mentioning about our defense giving a guy a one-way go. You got to sit there and be stern at what your read is. And with that being said, you see how our defense hunt. You see how those guys fly around to the ball. If you do your job, we talk about doing our job. You do your job, you will see this defense swarm and bottle them up.
And Tanner, our next one, I'm going to stick with you, containing Jalen Carter. Now, we are missing the guard, Sam Cosby. That's a big missing piece. How can we contain him in that defensive line?
It's a tough task. It's a tough task. He's a guy that he can beat one-on-one. So you saw the first outing. The first outing, he was a destroyer. He did just that. He did any and everything you didn't want to see him do. The second time around, we was able to bottle him up as well. Make sure we double team him at times. Tyler is feeling a little healthy, so we're going to have to see a little more of Tyler probably helping out Trent Scott, because Trent should be the guy that they having that tough task. But he's one of those guys. Saquon, and then you got a guy in Carter that those two guys are going to do what they do. You just got to do the best you can to prevent them from doing so.
And B. Mitch, how do we recover from a loss like Sam Cosby? Tanner mentioned those guys that need to step up, but how can we still get the win without Sam?
Next man up. And I think they preach that all year. And the thing about it, as Tanner was saying, you want to keep Jalen Carter guessing. We talk about when receivers are running routes. You don't always have to. You could make a man think it's man-to-man, but he has zone hiding behind him. You can make him think it's zone, but he got somebody that goes down and they're going to put that little vice on him. When you have a defensive lineman that's as dominant as he is, make him think about someone that's going to ear hold me. The next time somebody comes and hit him in the hip, you want to make sure he doesn't know where that double team is coming from. This is a physical game, and he's a dominant guy. So you know what? You got to get physical with him. And normally you don't win one-on-one, but two-on-one, I think you have a chance.
And somebody we really want to get physical with, B. Mitch, is Jalen Hurts. You want to put pressure on him and force him to use his arm.
You want to make him use his arm because he hadn't had the best year throwing the football. 132 yards a game is not spectacular, but that's what they've had to do because they're running the ball so well. But can he even run today? If he can't run and he still is having trouble throwing the football, that throws the momentum on the side of the Washington Commanders. But Jalen Hurts also has that in him, what he's done in the past. He's capable. But today you're going to have to find out. If he's on the field, make sure he's supposed to be out there.
And Tanner, we're looking at Jaden Daniels right now, so let's talk about him. We've talked so much about his calmness and that poise, but this is a huge stage, the biggest stage he's been on in the NFL. How can he remain poised and get it done once again?
It's all about being, comfortable. I think those guys up front have a tall task of keeping him comfortable, and I think when you look at Jaden, some of the things that's thrown at him, week in and week out, he seems to never be fazed by it. And this is one of the games that we kind of looked at, when last time we was here, it was the first game we saw him rattled a little bit. But guess what? He still stood tall and went out there and did the best he can do. I just want to see the guy be able to be himself. If you keep him comfortable, you keep him clean, trust me, it's going to be a nice day for us, man.
I don't think he knows a different way. I've seen some stuff come at him. You watched the pass he threw to Diami last week. That was a zero blitz. Everybody was coming, and he threw the ball early enough, high enough, and with the right arc to where it dropped right in his arms. I mean, I feel confident in him seeing them for the third time.
Yeah.
And I feel extra confident because he's seeing them for the second time in this building.
Yeah.
He know what they tried to do, and he's going to be ready to figure that thing out.
And fellas, both of y'all have mentioned the run game and how B-Rob found a way to really get it under Detroit. How can we take that momentum and get our run game going here in Philly?
We got to just keep going with it.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about it, sometimes you can't just run straight at that when they're that big. When they're a mountain, you got to go around the mountain sometimes. And maybe we got to hit some edges and things like that. Have a little switch up of bringing Austin in sometimes, and then have him doing some different things. I would take B-Rob on the edge and have Austin go up the middle because they think they know what we're going to try and do. So give them something else. Just make them think one thing and do something else.
I love having Austin Eckler back, and I think he's one of those. He's one of those home run hitters that most teams don't have. And when you have him back in the lineup, you give B-Rob a little more confidence that he can go out there and do some things differently. So, he's that E equation that Fred Smoot talked about, Eckler and Ertz. But Eckler, man, he does a lot for B-Rob confidence in the backfield.
All these guys, all these players, man, what a week they've had. When you're in the NFC Championship, when you're one of 4 teams left, you do a lot of media. So what we're going to do right now is let you hear from all of our players throughout this week as they prepared for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Each week we've gotten better. DQ talks a lot about leveling up, being better each week, and I feel like we've answered that call. And it's going to take our best this week to be able to win in Philly. So it's been great to be a part of this, but we're not really celebrating or reminiscing because the job's not done yet. So we're looking forward to the challenge this weekend. But I'm proud of the way that we have just continue to get better each and every week, and we still don't feel like we've reached our ceiling. So to feel that way in this part of the season, you couldn't ask for more. So everything we want still out in front of us, but we're focused on preparing the White Ray so we could go into this game fully ready to go.
I like these kind of games, and because they count us out, and also like going against a good running back. That's where you really see yourself as a team, as a defense. As far as my goal, man, going against the best is like he's gonna bring out the best in you. So, and he's one of the best by far to ever play the position, and he balling out this year. So, hats off to him. But by every time we play him, it's gonna be a dogfight, and that's the type of game we bring, and run around and hit, very violently. So. That's all I gotta say about heading to this game.
I think that's what makes our team so special, and I think that's what makes our connection easy and special, because no matter where you at in your career, I think we're a group of guys that've been doubted, or people felt like the best ball was past them, and nobody in there believed that. And when you're able to find a common ground like that, it allows you to push the people around you and try to maximize everybody's talent. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is just it's a room full of people, from the coaches to the players, that have been doubted, that is more interested in prove ourselves right than the others wrong.
5. Man, great hearing from all of our guys. What a great moment they are part of. Now, hell, here's a look at these two teams throughout the postseason so far. Washington's averaging 34 points per game. Philly's averaging just 25. We're looking at those numbers right there, not too different. And fellas, we were talking to some Philly pundits out here, and they're a little nervous about what we gonna do to them today. Now, let's send it back to the studio out in Ashburn. Fred, Sean, y'all take it away, fellas.
All right, Brian, we will take it away. Quarterbacks, of course, 2 former quarterbacks want to talk about the matchup. Yeah. Sean, let's start with you. These Washington corners, third-ranked defense against the pass this year, against a good group of Philly receivers, but haven't necessarily been putting up numbers lately.
And the reason why we talk with the Philly is not over the last 7 weeks, I think Jalen Hurts has only passed over 180 yards. But the reason why we're talking about the corners matchup, because as you heard the guys talk about on the field, we're going to have to limit Saquon a little bit. We're going to have to put a lot of guys to stopping the run. So that's going to put more pressure on the guys to play one-on-one corner. Mikey, Noah, and Sean Lattimore, they're going to have to make some plays because they're going to be in one-on-one coverage. But here's what I like to say. I like to say it's going to come down to maybe 1 or 2 plays that the guys in the back end may make. and Smoot's going to talk about the one-on-one matchups, but somebody may have to make a play in a game like this to get us a turnover, to get us that extra possession.
The question, Sean, is how are you going to play them? Is Jalen Hurts still a running quarterback, or is he a pocket passer because of the knee?
Yep.
Because if he a pocket passer because of the knee, that gives me the ability to play man-to-man and turn my back to him. But if he's still an eligible runner,
100%.
we're going to have to play zone blitz while we play those man-to-man sticky coverages that you have to match up with.
Let's talk about one of the matchups, Fred. Now you're looking at this one. St. Rochelle, the rookie, taking on Devonta Smith.
Well, everybody wants to talk about the one matchup, the number one corners, the A.J. Brown and Marshawn Lattimore. Maybe it comes down to the number two matchup, because don't forget in that game here, Devonta Smith misses that ball in the red zone that could have changed that game. Mikey Sanders still is on the roll in the playoffs, and uniquely they match each other well. So this is the battle that I think can change this game, because if we're going to bring Jeremy Chin in the box, if we're going to dare you to throw that quick game, they're going to try it, and they're going to try it early and often. Why not when my quarterback is immobile? Let's see what we can do. So I'm going to say this with Mike Sanders still. Can you tackle one-on-one outside of the hash this game? I didn't say I need you to break a lot of balls up. Can you tackle the guy that catches the ball?
We know he can get the ball.
We'll take
the picks all day now.
And the great thing about it, Jalen Hurts will give you a chance to turn the ball over.
Because he had 2 last week. All right. Guys who smell like bacon.
Wow,
Jalen Carter. This is going to be tough. No Sam Cosmi, obviously.
Well, you know, the Wild Boars have been getting the job done all year long. No Sam Cosmi. Trent Scott steps in right there. Now you got him and Allegretti anchoring the guard positions. They got their hands full with Big Davis and Big Jalen, Doomsday Carter. But guess what? We done played these guys before. We got a formula for these guys. And the one thing about our center, Biotish, he does a great job eliminating dominant D tackles. And I know that about Cliff Kingsbury. He's going to come up with some side to side of, this is what I'm actually hoping they do. I'm hoping they come out with the hurry up from the first play of the game, because when you get these guys in hurry up and you run play after play after play, forcing them to one sideline to sideline, they start to get tired. We start to score. That's how we did it in the fourth quarter of the game. That is the recipe to beating them.
And you saw it last week where the Rams had 324 yards. Matt Stafford chopped them about 324 yards passing, and they got tired. But let's talk about Jalen Carter even more. You have to account for this guy. You have to know who he is, because the last drive against a team like the Rams, what happened? He took over. So we got to put 2 hands, like I was saying. We got to run at him. And a lot of times teams, they try to run away from a dominant defensive tackle. You have to run after him. We call it duo. When 2 guys, 4 hands are on him at all times, and the running back can play off the double team and blocks and everything. So we have to account for one of the best defensive tackles in the league.
Be good to see the B-Rod from last week, and obviously Eckler didn't play in the last meeting, but had big numbers as a receiver in the first meeting between these two teams. One note, too, speaking of guys who smell like bacon, Cam Jurgens, the center for the Eagles, is out.
That's a big.
He's been scratched from the game. Been dealing with a back problem all week, so they'll be playing the backup center. Of course, Commanders have their own injuries, without
the good thing about that is
too.
Now they're pushing in Jalen Hurts' lap that he has to make all the protection calls with the second screen center in there. That's more on his plate. Let's see, can that help us out in the long run?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. All right, well, that'll do it from us for now. We'll send it back up to the link.
Shout out to our guys for holding it down in Ashburn, and the Commanders fans are holding it down out here in Philly. They are pulling up. I'm seeing a lot of burgundy and gold. Nothing but great vibes here. But before we go to break, let's take a look at today's injury report presented by Price Benowitz Injury Law, the proud personal injury firm of the Washington Commanders. Now, here's a look at today's injury report. As of right now, defensive end Javonte Jean-Baptiste is questionable, but the big name on there is Sam Cosmi out. We talked about that a little bit and how we can supplement the loss of him. It's going to be tough, but I think our guys can get it done. It's that next man up mentality. Now, we got to go to break, but before we go, coming up on Command Center Game Day Live, we are diving into this Eagles offense and running back Saquon Barkley. The captain, London Fletcher, will share how the Commanders defense can carry over their dominant performance in the divisional round. Plus, Fred and Sean Springs will play a little cover 2 as they break down this Eagles receiving core. And we can't talk NFC championships without talking about that kid, Jaden Daniels. We're recapping JD's 5 record-breaking rookie season and how Jedi 5 can be special against the Eagles. Commanders fans, Paisanos has a deal for you. We love some pizza. This weekend at Paisanos, get 1 large cheese pizza and 12 boneless wings for just $19.91. Use code 1991 at checkout at Paisano'sPizza.com, the official pizza of the Washington Commanders. Santana, we know you wish you was back there to get on that free.
You already know,
my brother.
Commanders
fans, plenty more to talk about in Command Center Game Day Live. We have a ton to get to. We are having fun out in Philly and rocking to some amazing music by this DJ directly right next to us. We will be right back after this break. This is Command Center Game Day Live, presented by SeatGeek.
I have the coffee. Oh, that's hot. That's hot. Yeah, blow on that for a little bit. Not here. So on SeatGeek, what is this deal score?
It grades seats to show whether a deal is amazing, great, good, not so good, bad, or awful based on your budget.
What a coincidence. That's how I classify my relatives.
Oh, really?
The only amazing is my cat, Walter. Let me show you some pictures.
Hold on. New Bet365 customers get how much? That can't be right.
It's true. Join Bet365 today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. You could spend them on bets like the spread, totals, run line, and player props.
Well, there you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Toyota has been manufacturing in America for over 50 years. Now with 10 manufacturing and assembly plants, pushing Toyota's investment in the U.S. to $48 billion. And relying on companies right here to supply $29 billion a year in parts, components, goods, and services. Which means over 100,000 good American jobs. So if buying American is important to you, see your Toyota dealer. Let's go places.
VetTix secures unused event tickets to give back to the military and veteran community. The mission? To strengthen family bonds, build lifelong memories, and encourage service members and vets to stay engaged in their community. Giving out over 15 million tickets since 2008, VetTix continues to give something to those who gave. To find out how you can help give once-in-a-lifetime experiences to our veterans, service members, and their families, visit vettix.org today.
It was like the entire team at Northwest Federal Credit Union was invested in my future and the success of this business. When I tell you I'm a loyal client, it doesn't even begin to say it.
This team is unbelievable. They will play any kind of game you want.
Anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Quick pass. That is a touchdown to Zach Ertz. That's it. Celebrate like it's 1991!
Welcome back. It's a Command Center Game Day Live presented by SeatGeek. I don't know if y'all hear all that noise. It's not Eagles fans. It's Commanders fans turning up as Adam Peters, as Dan Quinn, as Bob Myers, as they all walk out onto this field and get ready for this NFC Championship game. And it's going to be a tough one. And a lot of that has to do with Eagles running back Saquon Barkley. He has been on a tear all season, rushing for a league-high 2,005 yards and 13 touchdowns. He's coming off of a 200-yard game and rushed for over 100 yards in 8 of his last games. Now let's take a deeper look at the stats for number 1 rushing attack in the NFL. Actually, we are not going to look at that. We are going to hear from Joe Witt Jr., our defensive coordinator, right now.
You know, that's the whole thing. You watched the last, when they played the Rams. They bought him up some, and then he knocks one. He does against everybody. And so, what we have to do is just make sure we're disciplined up front. All right, we're ready to flow at the second level. And then the thing that I think he does better than anybody in the league, nobody talks about his home run ability, but he breaks the middle field safety off, okay? If you don't take a confident angle, if you take a touchdown angle, he runs past you. Or if you take a overconfident angle, he cuts it back. So you have to be able to get to his inside hip in a confident way and get him down. If not, you're not going to make the tackle. So, we have to. It's 11-man football to stop this man. And if you don't do it, you're going to see those explosive runs, which you've seen against everybody else.
That was our defensive coordinator, Joe Witt Jr. And now we welcome in the captain, Big Fletch. Killers wear all black, and the killer got on all black.
Killers wear all black, and if you ever see a killer practicing, run, because they don't practice.
Well, you know what? One thing we've been talking a lot about, had a lot of practice talking about, is that man Saquon Barkley. Yeah. How do we slow him down today?
Yeah, slow down is the key, because you're not going to totally shut him down. Yeah. I think it's going to start first and foremost with that front seven being disciplined in their run gap. You can't get in a situation where you're trying to peek and see, get out of your gap. You have to stay patient, stay in your gap, be square, and win the line of scrimmage. That's how you stop Saquon Barkley. Also, the cornerbacks and the safeties, they have to be exact in the run fit, because there are going to be times where they force the corners to tackle, and they have to be on point.
What did we do differently from the first time we faced them here at home, and then when we faced them at our home? Because it seemed to me we bottled them up into the fourth quarter when he had those two explosive runs. But then when we got home, he had those explosive runs out the gate. What was different about our defensive front?
In the first 3 quarters, three and a half quarters when we played them here, guys were exact, playing exactly where they need to be, not getting out of their gas. But with Saquon and this Eagles offense, it's a 60-minute game. Mm-hmm. The game at Northwest Stadium, they got a big run out on the perimeter where they caught us being a little bit slow to crack replace, what you call it. They also caught us running a little stuff. Mm-hmm. So that shortened the corner. They had angles, and we didn't take the proper angles. And next thing you know, he's out of the gate. Gotcha. But guys, that's why I say the corners have to be ready to crack replace and make sure that run fits. Sometimes, once you know your guy, your receiver's not going out for a pass, you got to be ready to field fast against this Eagles offense.
And the thing I noticed about him a lot, guys try to hit him with an elbow, hit him with a forearm. Wrap up. Because as strong as Saquon is, he's not going to drag anybody down the field like all day. Right. You hold on to him and let some other guys help. Hold on to with their life till somebody else come and help. Here's one thing also. With great running backs, you got to let them know early that this going to be a long day for you. Yeah. You got to be hitting them with multiple guys. I'm talking 4, 5, 6 guys, hitting them multiple times, hitting them in the backfield, hitting them at the line of scrimmage, hitting him for a 2-yard game, to where he's like, damn, I don't think today's that day. You gotta put doubt in his mind from the beginning of the game.
Now, London Fletcher used to be a basketball player. Next time somebody try to walk on our set, I need you to box him out. I don't care how old he is. I need you to box him out. Now, somebody we definitely want out of the box, Jalen Hurts, man. We talked a little bit about him and forcing him to throw the ball and use his arms. How imperative is that to make him be a thrower today?
It's important, especially I think with Jalen Hurts. We don't know how limited he will be from a mobility standpoint with the knee injury, but if we can force him to stay in the pocket, one thing that he hurt us with in both games was the scrambles, especially on those third and longer situations. There were a couple times where he converted, where we had everybody covered up on the back end, and he was able to find a rushing lane, a run lane, and get out. But you want to definitely make him operate in the pocket. He's not going to necessarily throw the football at you. He'll take a sack before he put the ball in harm's way.
And let's talk about our linebackers real quick before we let you go, Lundy, because we know you're busy. Louisville, a man. Bobby Wagner, a bad man. When you look at them and see what they've been able to do for this defense, how important are they for all the things we talked about for this defense in this game?
Well, I say linebackers set the tone, linebackers set the tempo, and there's no bigger stage where you need your linebackers setting the tone and the tempo. Lord. Those are 2 tone setters, 2 tempo setters. The physicality and productivity that both those guys have had all season long, and will have to be on full display today.
London, we always appreciate you. One last thing I'm going to ask you real quick. Joe Witt Jr. said if he going to be running like a running back, we going to hit him like a running back.
Hell yeah.
How much did you love that?
Come on, man. What you talking about? Hey, what trying to say? This is a Rydell type of game.
Rydell type of game, baby.
It's not about being dirty. No. It's about, hey, once he leaves that pocket and he's scrambling, he no longer has the same protection. Yeah. And he doesn't have a tendency, he doesn't slide a lot. And it's like, hey, if you're going to run the football, you got to treat him when you tackle him. Yeah. Tackle him like a running back. Don't tackle him like a quarterback, per se.
Shout out to Big Fletch, the captain, always pulling up and setting the tone. We appreciate you, brother. We are out here at the link. We are out here in Philly, but it's starting to feel like we at the crib. Like a lot of these road games has felt, it feels like we at the crib. A lot of burgundy and gold. And right now, shout out to London Fletcher. It's time for Money Matchup, brought to you by Northwest Federal Credit Union, where trust matters. Now here's a look at the Eagles offense through the 2024 season. They are second in rushing yards per game, 29th in passing yards per game. You heard the fella say it, we need to make a throw. This is why. Then they're 8th in total yards per game and 7th in scoring per game. A strong offense. Now, fellas, our guys out in Ashburn are getting lonely. They want to do some talking. So let's set it down to Fred Smoot and Sean Springs out in Ashburn. Fellas, how y'all feeling?
All right, feel good. All right, so you saw the numbers, like 29th in passing, but they still have A.J. Brown and they still have Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
How do you go containing these guys? And are you picking sides of the field today? You picking matchups with the corners?
I don't want the corners to travel. I think this is the day you soak in at the left, let me soak in the right. Let's get this job done no matter who they bring out there. Let's be honest, the quarterback hasn't been pushing the ball down the field. If you ask me, I would like to get in their face and press them a little bit, force them to push the ball down the field, force him to throw 50-50 balls up there, force him to be accurate, force him to go through his read. I hate to say this, I cannot let Saquon Barkley dictate this game. I have to put it in Jalen Hurts left, even though I know he's taking the team to a Super Bowl. I want to see, are you healthy mentally, physically, and emotionally? If I'm Coach Witt, I test your wherewithal today, all day.
So let me ask you something. Before we've always talked about body styles of receivers. You got Sinister and Smith, kind of long, lanky type guys. And you got a lot of more versus A.J. Brown.
The thicker guys.
So Mike has been playing over the last month or just basically his rookie season. He deserves the right to stay on the left side. He's been playing well in the ball. But sometimes, Dick, I wouldn't be surprised if you could see a little matchup.
If you pick your fights during the match.
If you did pick your fights. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down. We went in free agency to get Lattimore for this reason.
Yes.
Well, they make the trade for Lattimore. He was injured right away.
The trade
played the one Eagles game, of course, got hurt, but then was off a few weeks. Has come back very strong. Last week at his best game. I don't know which one was you with Lattimore who took away one side of the field?
That was me. That was me for sure. But Scott, you know it is. Scott, you know.
So don't start there.
But last week, you guys think Lattimore, that was his best game, right?
No. Guess what? He got no props for having a 0-yard, 0-catch game. But guess what? He'll multiply, he'll force multiply because he had 0 yards and 0 catches. Mike Sanders still got 2 interceptions. Quan Martin get his first pick 6. Jeremy Chin ends it with a dagger interception. That means everybody in the defensive backfield added to this game. Can they play together today? Because the only reason they played that well individually is because they played that well together.
Yep. 100%.
Well, you mentioned the safety. So obviously Quan Martin, huge play last week. Chin, a big play at the end of the game. How important are they going to be? Because clearly it's not just about taking away the receivers, it's the run support, and Dallas Goedert.
Jeremy Chin has just been an absolute monster. You're talking about Godson, big body type. He was able to get down in the box, and he's like another linebacker when he's down in the box. He's physical at the point of attack, so when you're talking about he's big enough to cover guys like Goddard in space, but he's also big enough where he can take on a run and be the 8th man in the box. So I think he's going to be very important and having Quan in deep and let Chin just roam down in the box.
Well, I think it's important the fact that their RPO game is how they usually get Goddard the ball. Is the RPO game going to be big in this game because of the fact that the quarterback is he's a non-runner right now. So I want to see what level of that and how do they try to get him open. So now I say they got to turn their back and say, we got to play action the ball to Saquon and now try to push it down the field that way. So are we going to play some middle up with other safety closed defenses? And can that safety always be the deepest man on the field?
All right, weird update, but Cam Jurgens, who they said was not going to play, is active, but Adam Schefter reports he may not start.
All right, you're just like a local weatherman.
Let's keep it going.
Sunny, same thing,
the NFL insiders who supposedly know all this stuff that are at this stadium. But anyway, it's interesting. So we'll keep an eye on it. And again, you got to wonder, even if he does start, can he finish with the back-to-back? In a physical, type of football game. Anyway, we'll keep our eyes on that throughout the day as we send it back up to the lake.
Little to the right next to your beard. My bad. I ain't want to touch your face, man. Shout out to our guys up in the studio. And since we have the secondary guys in Ashburn, let's talk about our secondary out here in Philly. This is how they looked against Detroit. Sandershill, 2 interceptions. Martin, first career pick 6, and then Chin, 1 interception. And he led the team in tackles. What a game for our guys, and we're expecting them to bring that momentum here against a very tough Philadelphia offense. We are out here at the link. Commanders fans are starting to pull up. Eagles fans are starting to walk into our shot, but we ain't going to let them slow us down. Our guys are out here ready to go because in just some moments, we will be in our first NFC Championship game since 1991. And you know what? It's time for Best Seat in the House, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. This is Quan Martin right here, kicking with me on Next Man Up, talking about what he needs from this amazing fan base. Let's check it out.
Philly, that's something you are very, very familiar with. Do you feel like that gives you guys an advantage, knowing that you guys have seen this team not only twice, but also beat them before as well?
It does, but Coach Witt actually said something in the meeting today, and it kind of just stuck with me. He's like, yeah, like we played them, we beat them, blah, 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 but we haven't played them in the NFC Championship game. So just treating this game like, this is our first time playing them, truthfully.
What's the preparation been like? Like, I know it's still a game, but this is playoffs, this is the NFC Championship. How has preparation increased or amped up during this playoff run you guys are on?
Right, yeah, man. Just guys trying to, whatever kind of preparation it is, like taking care of your body, rehab, treatment, working out, like just getting stronger, and, just studying, honestly. And just being able to look at the details. Like you said, we played them twice already, so really just trying to find more of, just digesting their offense, defense, whatever it may be, but just trying to find more and just seeing some things you can learn from.
Always great catching up with Quan Martin. You can check out our full sit-down interview on the Commanders YouTube page or stream the audio wherever you get your podcast. But you don't want to do that right now. You want to watch us right now. And since we're here, fellas, let's talk about our defense. Actually, let's talk about this Eagles defense and our offense. Tanner, you mentioned Jalen Carter earlier. We talked about it a little bit. We're missing Sam Cosmi, slowing down Jalen Carter and keeping the pressure off of Jaden Daniels.
I think one of the things we have to do is offensively, some of the things that we've done in the past with tempo, you know what I mean? Coming back to the ball, don't allow those guys to get set. Don't allow a guy like Jaden Carter that after every play, don't allow him to rest. Don't allow him to really, be able to, key in on what we're doing. And tempo is going to be key. But also, like I said before, having Tyler there, getting his little health back, we're going to have to double team a guy like him. I think Carter's one of those guys you just have to double team. And if we can find a way to, like I said before, to not allow those guys to set up and know what we're doing, then we have them playing in our wheelhouse.
And B-Mitch, we talk about a guy named Kobe Dean. He's their linebacker for Eagles. He is out with an injury, man. Anytime you're missing starters, it is going to hurt your team. How does that affect this game?
Well, when you miss starters, it does hurt your team, but they have a next man up mentality too. But I think we have to not worry about them so much and worry about us. I think when Shannon mentioned by running the tempo, let's find out how conditioned they are. Let's see if they're in shape or not. Because if they're not, then they don't have a chance with us. I think we are going to be able to move the ball down the field. Every time we do it in tempo, we move the ball on everybody we face. Why not try to do it on them?
And moving the ball is going to be crucial, Tanner, because we look at this secondary right there. They got some young guys, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. They kind of snubbed our boy Mikey Sanders still with the Defensive Rookie of the Year talk. What do you think we could do to make them realize that we got the best defensive rookie, not them?
Well, I think one of the things, God don't like ugly. So, they tried us with Sanders still. Sanders still been playing phenomenal. And rightfully so when you look at what they've been doing with Cooper. He's had a great year, but his defensive front has been so dynamic to where you don't have to do much back there. When you look at what Sanders Steelers did, from our defense, giving up the most rushing yards when it comes to, being so bad against the rush. But one of the things we stood out is in the passing game. Yeah. And so if you have a rookie out there that's been starting all year for you, that speaks enough for you. You don't have to go that far and say, do he deserve more recognition than the next man up? So, like I said before, God don't like ugly. The football gods will respond today. It is our day. They will respond today.
Eagles, one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. B-Mitch, I got to imagine your boy Terry about to have a field day today.
Well, I think the thing of it, everyone talks to us about Quinyon Mitchell the first game. And he wasn't running man-to-man. They had all kind of stuff, cloud curtains and everything on Terry. But you know what? Since that game, Terry and Jaden has got a special connection. And I really believe that the fact that Diami has stepped up, Crowder has been doing his job, Zach Ertz does his, Zacchaeus, you won't be able to do all that stuff you were doing before. So Terry gets to get the young buck one-on-one, and the young buck has a little bad wing right there. Let's figure out how it's going to happen. Because I think I'll put my money on the veteran, Terry McLaurin, than anybody.
And B-Mitch, you said special connection. And when I look around right now and I see more and more Burgundy and Gold fans pull up, I feel that special connection. We are out here at the link right now where we walked in your trap and took over your trap like we did every single week in road game this season. You know what? Before we go to break, let's hit these most rewarding odds. Presented by Fanatic Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of the Washington Commanders. Please play responsibly, and if you need to, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now here's a look at today's game day details from out here at Ford Field. The Commanders kick off against the Lions at 8. The Commanders kick off against the Eagles at 3 p.m. today. You can catch this matchup tonight on Fox. Now, our game day odds are, we are 6.5-point underdogs with a money line of plus 230 and an over-under of 47. Now, we got plenty more to get out in the link, but we are going to be talking about that kid, Jaden Daniels, right after this break. This is the best Commanders pregame show around. Command Center Game Day Live, presented by SeatGeek.
Toyota has been manufacturing in America for over 50 years. Now with 10 manufacturing and assembly plants, pushing Toyota's investment in the U.S. to $48 billion. And relying on companies right here to supply $29 billion a year in parts, components, goods, and services. Which means over 100,000 good American jobs. So if buying American is important to you, see your Toyota dealer. Let's go places.
Moments like this, you're faced with an important question. If a ball lands in a cup and no one else sees it, does it count? You bet your sweet 5-iron it does. Somewhere to smile about. Ocean City, Maryland. Oh wait, he's still going. Okay. Nice.
Breaking news and a surprise contender in the marathon.
Yes, Rachel, someone has caught up to the front. He's carrying a fridge.
Something remarkable has just happened. Talk about keeping your eye on the ball. What's happening courtside?
From half court, he got it.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. Over to baseball. Bridgman's gonna win.
There's no way. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Williamsburg is your home for the holidays. From fall foliage to winter wonderlands and everything in between, Williamsburg has it for less. Plan your affordable getaway today.
Welcome back into Command Center Game Day Live, presented by SeatGeek. We are out here in Philly at the link as Commanders fans pull up. They always show up and show out. You see our guys on the field getting ready for some kicks. And you know what? I have to welcome in one of my heroes, Super Bowl champion, one of the best to ever do it, changed the game. The game wouldn't be the same without Doug Williams. Welcome again, Doug Williams.
Good
How
to
you
be
doing,
back
brother?
another week.
It's good. We had you out in Tampa. We talked about that, but now NFC Championship. During the break, y'all talked about this. Like, man, it feels good to be back, man. How great are you feeling right now, Mr. Doug?
It's been 37 years since I felt like this, man, and it's a great feeling, to be honest. Not only for me, but the city itself. And I think that's big time.
Doug, what do you remember from your going into your NFC Championship game? How was it different, or everything was that regular?
You know, I hope and Jaden feel like I felt. You know, it wasn't a feeling that you was playing a championship game. It was a feeling that you was playing the Minnesota Vikings, and it was a football game. Yeah. There you go. And if you go out there with that same attitude, don't worry about what happens after that, I think you're gonna be all right.
Doug, being that Jaden is so young in this game, and this is his first year, you know, we we rarely get these moments, coming out of the, college and into our first year. If you ever had the moment to sit there and say, share a message with him and tell him how to feel or how to approach this game, what would be your message to Jaden?
Well, I think when you look at what Jaden has done this year, it's hard to tell him what he needs to do.
Yeah.
I think he got to do the same thing he's been doing. We're in the championship game, and I really don't think Jaden really knows where he is. It's a football game.
No doubt.
He takes it that way because it's the work he put in, he gets the same thing out of it. I think that's the big bottom line.
And Mr. Dub, before we let you go, man, I got to paint a picture real quick. You've been through a lot in this league, man. You were a trailblazer. Right now, we're about to watch the NFC Championship game with two black quarterbacks, two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, man. How much pride do you take when you see all that hard work you put, all that blood, sweat, and tears pay off in this way?
It's unbelievable when I think about 1988 being the first one to play in the Super Bowl and think about the guys that played before me that didn't get that opportunity and looking forward to these guys that getting that opportunity make you feel real good.
Hey, Mr. Dub, we appreciate you all. Thank you for taking the time to kick it with us here right
Zachary,
now.
Louisiana.
Now, let's hear from our favorite podcast, the Command Center podcast, right now, talking about that kid, Jaden Daniels. Mr. Dub.
Hey, Game Day Live. This is the Command Center podcast. You can check us out wherever you get your podcast. We got a quick game of Hell Yeah.
Hell no.
Is Jaden Daniels the best player on the field?
I have to say hell yes, and I'm going to say this because he's not just human, he's a Jedi. The Force is what he uses. He's different, and his heartbeat slows down in the most pivotal times in the game. He's a quarterback. He's going to touch the ball 90 times a game. I feel like compared to Jalen Hurts, he's better than Jalen Hurts because he's clutcher than Jalen Hurts. Yeah. So I'm going to say hell yes, Jedi 5, best player on the field.
And I'm going to give you the respectable answer. I'm going to say he's the best rookie on the field. See how I did that?
Yeah, he's always hedging, man.
I'm going to say hell yeah as the best rookie on the field. You got to get those guys props now. It's going to be a lot of guys out there on the field that have, stood tall.
Peps on the wall.
In some of these games that we've seen these guys, in far throughout their career, especially this game. Yeah. And it's hard for me to sit out there and just point out one guy that he's better than. There's so many of them. So I will say he's the best rookie, and I'm going to say hell yeah to that.
I mean, for sure the best rookie. I don't think it's even close. But I think you got guys like Jalen Carter. Is he in the conversation? A.J. Brown.
Saquon Barkley.
And I was kind of kicking this around.
Let's be fair, fellas. Let's be fair.
I was quicking around, but again, I think it speaks to how special he's been this year.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The impact that he's having on every single game. I think Saquon's amazing. Yeah. Jalen Carter's an absolute beast. Yeah. But you have a quarterback that has 87% in fourth down situations.
Unbelievable.
Think about the winning percentage that's bringing to you. So I'm going to say hell yeah, man. And I can't wait to watch that boy today. And, man, I'm so stoked for this game.
Man, I'm ready to go 4 quarters away from Bourbon Street.
Let's take a look at our playoff numbers for our rookie quarterback. He's tied for first in wins. He's going to change that today and be the only one in first in wins. He's first in team points per game. He's second in offensive yards. He's first in pass touchdowns and interceptions. And he's first in passer rating. It's somebody that's first in our hearts. The voice of the Commanders, Bram Weinstein, brother, man. How great is this?
Birthday boy.
Around right now. Birthday boy. Hey, happy birthday, young man. Happy 23rd birthday, my brother.
Happy birthday, brother.
I could have ever gotten, to be here. I was a freshman in college when I'm watching this guy play in a game like this.
Wow.
So I've been waiting my entire adult life. I didn't sleep last night. I know nobody back home slept last night. Let's get this on. Biggest game between these two teams ever. Let's go.
And Bram, I'm loving you got the shades on. You're starting to figure it out. You're starting to get it.
Listen, this is serious. All right? I didn't come here to play.
Yeah.
Any booth, anywhere, anytime. Let's go.
Bram, what is it you think? You've seen Jaden play all year.
Yeah.
You've seen his Eagles defense. Do you think he's the type of guy that won't get rattled by something like that?
100%. I mean, they just beat the best offense in the NFL. Today they're going to beat the best defense in the NFL. And he's a big reason for it. If he was not as mobile, if he didn't have the poise, if he didn't have the instincts with the offensive line in the condition it's in, we'd be in trouble today. I mean, real honestly. But because of him, because he's an X factor, because he does things that nobody in this league does, they have a chance to move the ball. And I do think, as much as I love Jaden and the historic season he's having and the reason he gives them a chance to win, The defense has to show up today, keep them in the game. You can't ask him to be Superman consistently throughout this.
You know, you get a chance to call the game week in and week out, and you're seeing this guy, you're seeing this rookie, this young phenom come in here and with the composure of a guy that's played for 10 years plus. What is it about Jaden that you just still seem to scratch your head about him every time you watch him?
I've never seen this, and I'd love to hear what you guys say about it, because you played. I've never seen someone so humble, egoless, but so talented all at the same time to come in a package like this. You know, most of the time, one of those is different. It's an outsized ego. It's maybe a talent level that isn't quite that. You know, obviously, this really matters to him. The work ethic, the VR work, everything he puts into it, like that matters too. Like, I know Joe Gibbs is here. You played for Joe Gibbs. You played for Joe Gibbs. He always talked about, it isn't just about talent, it's picking people. You have to pick people. He wants this. He wants it for his teammates. He wants it for himself. He wants it for everybody. And he is literally the total package in every way, shape, and form, not just the talent.
And I think when you look at the fact, when he threw the Hail Mary, he looked like he didn't do anything. He was just walking off like, oh, do him. And then when Marcus threw a touchdown, he lost his mind. And I think that says a lot about him, because he always says, I prepared. I've seen this. I know this. So he doesn't have to celebrate what he does. He knows it's going to happen because he put the work in.
Like, no turnovers, 1 punt in 2 road playoff games? That's absurd. I mean, that's absurd.
We say he's doing things that rookies don't do.
That's right.
He's doing things that regular players don't do.
That's right.
You know, I don't think many veteran players does that as well.
This is the greatest season any rookie quarterback's ever had. It's not close. And I do think it's really interesting. There is a rookie quarterback that won a championship in the NFL. His name is Sammy Baugh. Sammy Baugh won it in 1937 as a rookie. He wore the number 33. We're 33 years to the day from 60 minutes away from watching the first rookie quarterback ever start in a Super Bowl.
Preach.
So I know that's a little Da Vinci Code, but, you know, I've had a lot of time to think about this for the last 30 years.
Well, man, we appreciate you. We love your energy. We're going to let you go up, get in that booth, man, because we know you locked in and ready to go. And since we're talking about the rookie, let's hear from Jaden Daniels.
I think you put some different wrinkles into your game plan, and I'm pretty sure they will too. But at the end of the day, it's about, you know, execution and fundamentals, and that's a very good team that we're going to face for a third time again. So they got a lot of good players. Obviously, we know them; they know us. So it's going to be a fun matchup going up against them on Sunday.
I gotta do it.
That was our rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Now, let's take a look at some of these records and accolades the young brother had. He's the first to lead a team in rushing yards in regular season and make the playoffs. He's the first to defeat a number 1 scoring offense in the playoffs. That was Detroit. He's the first to defeat multiple top 5 scoring offenses in the playoffs. Buccaneers and Detroit. He's the first to have 300 and plus offensive yards in multiple playoff games. And as y'all can see, the list goes on and on and on and on. That's not even all the things. That's all the graphic right there. But you know what? Let's hear from our offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, on the magic that is JD5.
Vic's done everywhere he's been, had one of the top defenses in the league. I think the thing that jumps out at me with him the most is just he has to be I've never coached with him, but has to be an incredible teacher, because whoever they plug in there, they play consistently. They don't give up the big play, and everybody knows, like, their spacing on defense is as good as anybody I've ever gone against. They know where to be. They know the drops. They know the depths of their drops. And so he's a challenge, because you're not going to get any free ones. You're not going to get those big 80-yarders that they just bust a coverage. You're going to have to earn every deal, and he's going to change up the looks on you. Yeah, he's one of the most dominant players in the league, if not the most dominant that I've seen. He can wreck a game by himself. They're good enough up front to rush for and get pressure, as they've shown throughout the year. But that guy's really come on. I have a ton of respect for the way he plays the game, whether they're up, down, whatever. He's playing hard. He's, you know, getting his wins, and he changed that entire defense with his style of play this year.
Man, it has been fun seeing Cliff Kingsbury work his magic, and today will be no different. Let's take a look at the Commanders' offensive numbers and the Eagles' defensive breaks through the 2024 season, and that's including the playoffs. We are 4th in points per game. Philly is 1st in points per game as far as their defense is concerned. We're 5th in total yards per game. Philly is 1st in total yards per game as far as their defense is concerned. It's very, very close, guys. This is going to be a game. I don't know why folks are sleeping on the Commanders, because judging by these numbers, there is no reason to. Now, Let's holla at our guys out in Ashburn, Fred Smoot and Sean Springs. Fellas, take it away.
All right, guys, it is that time. I mean, this is the third meeting. First time Vic Fangio's defense kept the Commanders to 18 points.
Yep.
Second time Commanders lit them up late in the game in particular, in the game here. How do you kind of see what they have done, the first time versus the second time when you look at those two matchups?
As much as people want to say familiarity because we're in the same NFC East, because we have played each other twice, these are two new playoff teams. The season starts anew, and best believe whatever plays they didn't call against you that first time, they're going to call against them now. Whatever plays they ran early on you in the year, they got some plays made off of that play. You just got to understand, even the people that's available for this game makes this game a different roster game. So I like what Coach said during the week, Coach Quinn. This is clean slate protocol. Like, we got to take their best, they got to take our best, and may the best team wins after these 4 quarters.
Well, I think when you think about Coach Fangio, obviously he's known for his defensive pressure, the way he can try to confuse quarterbacks. But that hasn't been working against Cliff and what JD5 has been doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because when you think about Jaden's poise. He's had over 55 starts in college. He's been running the RPO system. He understands his reads in his offense. So he's comfortable, even though he's going to get a lot of exotic looks, a lot of different pressures. He's going to be comfortable. I think what happens in this game is two teams, they are familiar in the sense that we kind of know who the players are. It's no secret about Saquon. It's no secret about Jalen. It's no Jalen on our end. It's no secret about Jalen Carter, right?
Yeah.
It is no secret. It's going to come down to the execution of the game plan at hand for both stars.
Well, I think when it comes to that defense of Vic Fangio, I think Cliff Kingsbury do a great job of outnumbering him because he know he's a zone blitzer. If you're a zone blitzer, if I could throw that bunch way outside of the numbers, put the back right behind me, then move him to the to the side at the same time, I sneakily got into 4x1 on you, and I could run out of that 4x1. B-Rob had a field day running out of that 4x1. So I expect for everybody to see a lot of that. Let me beat you by formation.
I think that's a very important point, Scott. The point he's trying to make there is when you play match defense, teams going to match. I can match up 1, 2, 3, but when that fourth defender comes in on this side of the field, oftentimes that's when he becomes a free guy. Someone loses him.
So Vic Fangio said Jaden Daniels is a rookie, but not by only by birth certificate.
Yes. Right.
Not playing like a rookie. All that being said, you guys brought some good points. The things that he does well don't necessarily work against the Commanders. So what do you think Vic Fangio pulls out today?
I think you can't. This ain't the time to change who you are.
Right.
Like, I can see them adapting a little bit. I can see them saying on passing downs, they don't expect us to play a lot of too high safety. How about we play some too high safety and cover 4? How about we bracket Terry McLaurin and force them to throw to De'Ami Brown, even though this is the game that downtown De'Ami Brown start really coming into his own. So therefore, you got to ask yourself on this offense, who do we want to take away? I think there are two main people to take away. It's going to be JD5 and Terry McLaurin, and they're going to try to force us to beat them other ways.
And as a defensive coach, you're always looking for your stars to show up. He's looking at Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to make plays at the big moments that we need you to make plays? Those are two biggest stars, I think, on the defense. And then back end, you got Big Play Slay, who will make plays, but we haven't been really turning the ball over. But they're going to look for the guys up front to kind of take the pressure off the secondary and make plays.
And can the third receiver like Zacchaeus make some plays on the rookie Cooper DeJean?
Yeah.
That'll be a big measure of it also.
Zacchaeus had a big game, obviously, in Washington with the 2 TDs and 70 yards. All right, so when you look at Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels, it's an amazing season. You saw the numbers a little while ago. The number one, first to do this, first to do that. You know, a rookie quarterback in the championship game, trying to be the first to actually go to the Super Bowl as a rookie. What has stood out to you, maybe that's impressed you the most that these two have achieved together?
For me, it's been – everyone talks about the exotic pass game and everything, but I think we got to give a little shout out to Coach Flynn in the run game. Yeah. Pairing the run game with the RPO passing game, the RPO run pass option, and pairing the run game with it is what puts a lot of pressure on the defense. So I'll just love the way Cliff Kingsbury has been putting the run game with the passing.
It's the perfect marriage of young incentive coach that's not going to try to bend you to the will of his offense, but he's going to let your offense will him, and the fact that they understand what they have in that relationship.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back in a little bit, but let's send it back up to the lake as we get closer to kickoff with Brian and the guys.
Shout out to our guys for holding it down in the Command Center studio out in Ashburn. Now, we got to go to break. When we come back, we are talking a quarterback's best friend, his wide receivers. We're talking what makes Terry McLaurin scary and how our receivers can continue their success for the divisional round. And we can't talk offense without the legend, Logan Paulson. He'll join the show to break this Commanders run game down and how our backs can get off to a fast start in today's game. You hear them boos? That means our team is running out. We will be right back with Command Center Game Day Live, presented by SeatGeek.
Attention football fans, are you ready to kick off the season with something special? Arthur Wheeler Spirits Company is opening a distillery and tasting lounge less than 15 minutes south of the Commanders in Northwest Stadium. And we are ready to be your go-to destination for all things spirits. Whether you're tailgating, hosting the ultimate game day party, or just enjoying a quality drink, Arthur Wheeler Spirits Company has you covered like the Commanders secondary. We've got the perfect lineup to keep your celebrations going strong.
VetTix secures unused event tickets to give back to the military and veteran community. The mission? To strengthen family bonds, build lifelong memories, and encourage service members and vets to stay engaged in their community. Giving out over 15 million tickets since 2008, VetTix continues to give something to those who gave. To find out how you can help give once-in-a-lifetime experiences to our veterans, service members, and their families, visit vettix.org today.
Driving the Nissan Kicks with intelligent all-wheel drive is like the best seat in the house. See why it's been named a Consumer Guide Best Buy for 4 years in a row. Drive the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks today.
Get 4.49% financing for 60 months on Kicks, one of 6 Nissan vehicles with starting MSRP under $30,000.
Nissan, proud partner of the Washington Commanders.
Hail to the Commanders!
Rookie quarterback James Daniels, who has just been sensational so far.
I mean, is there anything this kid can't do? Welcome back into Command Center Game Day Live, presented by SeatGeek. We are live from the link out here in Lincoln Financial in Philadelphia, where the Commanders and Eagles will take the field for this NFC Championship game. You see our guys out there, they just ran out on the field, and they look ready to go. Man, it's so great to see these guys out on that field for this NFC Championship game. Now, before we talk the run game, let's take a look at how our run game has fared so far this postseason. We've had 75 carries, 264 yards, averaging about 132 yards a game with 3 rushing touchdowns. And you know how we do it. When we talk offense, we bring in the film guru. And the film guru is no other than Logan Paulson. I go up front. When you look cold, I feel colder. I don't know if I've ever seen you in a scarf before, my brother.
Gotta get ready for today, man.
We all ready. We all ready. And you know, I like that you doing running in place, so let's talk this running game real quick. We talked about it a lot, but we saw our running game really take over in Detroit. How can we have that same success here in Philly?
I think you can't compare 2 games, one after the other. That team is much different than this one. That Detroit was banged up front, got young linebackers. This is the opposite of that, right? Yeah. They've got one of the best defensive lines, if not the best defensive line in football. Zach Vaughn is playing the best linebacker that I've seen play this year, quite frankly, right? They've got great support players in the run game. It's a different animal, right? You got to be patient. I don't want to be banging my head against the wall. How can we get them moving laterally? Little misdirection, maybe some traps, some wham, some double teams on Jalen Carter. Don't let him be the issue, right? It's going to be a slog, man. They're the best defense in the NFL for a reason. Don't force it.
What are some of the things we did in both games that we can lean on tonight to do?
Yeah, so I think when you look at Detroit, for example, getting wide formations, spread them out. One of the things about this Vic Fangio defense is they're very complicated, but they simplify versus certain looks. So you get in a 3-by-1, for example, you know what you're going to get. We can block that up when we know where spots are, right? Let's take advantage of that. Let's make sure we widen our splits out so they can hide so they can't hide their zone pressures. I think that's going to be huge. And when I look at, again, the last matchups, one of the things that sticks out to me, and you got to talk about in a little bit, is explosive plays. If you can find a couple explosive plays, it really softens these guys up.
Yeah.
Run, pass, screen, however we get to it, we got to get it done.
Does tempo work against them?
What's that?
Tempo.
So I think that's a great point. Tempo is huge because, again, you talk about ways to regulate them. Make sure we know what they're in, what personnel is on the field, what coverage are they going to be in. Tempo does a great job of that. It doesn't need to be super fast, just needs to be quick enough to regulate them so that it gives us the schematic advantage.
And Logan, Austin Eckler, I don't think we can talk enough about what his coming back has done for this offense. You talk about him a little bit because I got to imagine he's going to be very involved in what we do today.
Yeah, so the thing about Austin, I think he does a great job as a pass protector, and he's a great job as a yards after touch guy, right? Yeah. So he can maximize certain runs, he can maximize screens, like little check down opportunities. And so if you think about the first matchup, the one on Thursday night, he was the offense, right? Because what does this Philadelphia team like to do? They like to get a ton of depth in their drops and rally with speed to underneath stuff. He's a guy that can hurt you on some of that underneath stuff. That's what he makes him so special. And then when they do decide to pressure, bring some of that zone pressure stuff, he does a great job identifying the rusher and being stout in protection. So he's been a really nice add to bring back after the injury.
And Logan, before we let you go, man, you're going to be here on this sideline, our first NFC Championship game since 1991. You see all that burgundy and gold in here, man.
Yeah,
we talked to all the other guys about it, man.
We're in the building.
How special is this?
I'm juiced, man. It's great to be walking up and down the sideline and get people being like, let's go. This is the time. This is the moment. And again, this is a hostile crowd already. You can feel it from them, but that makes it all the more sweet, right?
Are they hostile or are they just drunk?
Huh?
Hostile or they just
hostile
drunk?
or just drunk? We can't decide.
One or
Whatever
other.
it is, man, we're ready to go.
Some of the kids look drunk.
Well, they got the old juice. Logan's juiced as well. Mr. Sober Guy Logan, man, we appreciate you always, man. Can't wait to hear you guys on the sideline. Y'all can catch him on Big 100 Radio. Now, since we're talking offense, let's take a look at these offensive numbers so far this season for our Washington Commanders. We are 3rd in rushing yards per game, 17th in passing yards per game, 7th in total yards per game, and 5th in scoring per game. Logan, thank you so much for your time, man. Always exciting to have Logan Paulson with us. And speaking of that, it's always exciting to see Commanders fans out in Philly. Now it's time for our exciting players to watch. Presented by Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. Now, our exciting players to watch are no other than our wide receivers. Wide receiver Terry McLaurin recorded his 5th straight 1,000-yard season and stamped his name in the Washington history books with the most touchdowns in a season. Wide receiver De'Ami Brown has been impressive as well this postseason with over 300 yards on 30 receptions in the last 2 games. That is crazy to say. And the Commanders' offense is averaging over 280 yards passing per game so far in the postseason. So, fellas, you know what we like to do.
Yeah.
You know we like to do the Tanner takeover when it comes to receivers. Tanner, first one up, Terry McLaurin. Not only a record-breaking season for Terry McLaurin, but it looks like the most fun he's ever had.
Well, most fun he ever had, and guess what? We're playing a team that he normally have his way with. I think if you look at his career against the Philadelphia Eagles, Terry has almost 900-something yards and I believe 6 touchdowns in 12 games against these guys. So when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, and Terry shows up. I'm loving this matchup because Terry loves a great opponent like Philadelphia Eagles.
And B. Mitch, man, you get a text saying, man, is Terry your son? But he might like you in
the way
face.
He plays, yes.
But he plays like you, B. Mitch, man. When you see that intensity, man, and just the way he's been able to rally this whole offense, man, how impressed are you?
Well, I'm impressed by Terry. He's always been the guy where he doesn't say much. Yeah. He just goes out and performs. But when you start talking trash to him, then he really, really performs.
Lord.
I think the other thing for this, as I look at it, the other receivers are stepping up now, which makes him even more potent.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because when we played them in that Thursday night game, we didn't have De'Ami stepping up like he did. Zacchaeus wasn't necessarily stepping up.
Yeah.
Crowder was hurt on injury reserve. Now all those guys are on the football field, and I think that makes a world of difference because you can't put all those assets to try and stop Terry. You got to worry about everybody.
And Tanner, it was almost like magic because as soon as you mentioned the other guys, when you mentioned De'Ami Brown, he has been balling out ever since. Talk about De'Ami Brown and just his emergence as that number 2 receiver for this Commanders.
I can't talk enough about him. I think one of the things that's, been special about this season is watching a guy like him who I've had so much high aspirations in being a great receiver for us starting to show up. It pays dividends for a guy like Terry. We just talked about Terry, but it pays dividends for a guy like De'Ami because he's so dynamic. He might can do some things that a lot of these guys, who are number 1 in other teams can do. He has a huge catch radius. He has speed that a lot of guys don't have at that number 2 position. And not only that, he has the playmaking ability to go out there and score touchdowns and make big plays. So for him stepping up in his emergence has allowed a guy like Terry to now get favorable matchups, and also the other guys who come in, get a favorable matchup.
And I want to keep talking about those other guys because we know how big this game is for Zach Ertz, right? This was his old stomping grounds, man. They love him here. He had a huge reception. But somebody we haven't talked about enough, Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
He came back against Philly, balled out. Last season, played Philly, balled out. He's one of those guys, B-Mitch, I could expect to see get off once again.
He's a veteran. Jameson has been in this league 10 years now.
Yeah.
He knows how to set people up. He knows what plays need to be made in certain moments, and he also can help you in the return game. And I think that right there, be able to have an extension of the receivers to the return game is going to be big for us today.
It is going to be huge. All of our guys are going to be huge, and it's always that next man up mentality when you're talking the Washington Commanders. You see them on that field right now, coming together as brothers. They are ready for this game. They are not scared. Commanders fans are not scared. And you know what?
Never scared.
It's time for our Never Ordinary Performance. Presented by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's Never Ordinary at Bet365. Scott, Fred, Sean, y'all out in Ashburn, take it away and talk about some Never Ordinary Performance.
All right, thanks, Brian. Great setup. We will get to some Never Ordinary. Fred, let's start with you.
Yes, I got Austin Eckler. Hey, but I want to pair him up. I call it the E equation, and it worked real well last week. There was Austin Eckler and Ertz. These two vets, they've been here, they've done that. And the thing I like about when it comes to Eckler, him and B-Rob are so different. When he comes into the backfield, Bluefoot knows this. When we see a guy like that come in, we alert 30 in the game because now here comes screen, here comes draw, here come outside zone, here come the trick play, here come everything they can do with a guy like that. Ertz, he's just a guy that's just been there all year long. He basically, to me, he's a Philadelphia Eagle killer. He seemed to have the best game against Philadelphia. I just think if the E equation shows up today, we got a chance to score 30 points. And if we score 30 points, Scott, we will be walking, doing the second line, in New Orleans, having fun.
All right, let's get to your Sean. Who's your Never Ordinary?
My guy's Noah Iganagbe. Yep. And everybody knows in the secondary, you just have messed his name?
Yeah,
I killed his name. We know it. You know what I mean. But just Noah, in the secondary, there's always a guy that's asked to do multiple things, play in the run, play the slot.
Yep.
And he's always in a position where he's always in a conflict against the Eagles offense where, am I going to attack Jaden? Am I going to cover the slot? Yeah. This guy has to be on it today. He doesn't get a lot of credit, but he's been solid all year. He's been the glue to that secondary. His name is not often called because he's doing his job. And this week, I think he's going to have to be extraordinary in the run game as well as in the pass game to make plays. And he might be going against a former teammate, Jahan Dotson. I think he can make some plays on him.
So that's why I think he has the edge in the run game. Yep. Because that reason, one reason that, Jahan was traded because of the blocking prowess. So I think Noah wins that matchup when it comes to the run game, but he will be a part of that run front.
Yep.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, all these games have been different, very drastically different. 18 points to a game in the 30s the last time around. So, everybody seems to be calling this one a lower one, but I'm with you, Fred. If it's higher, that's good for the Commanders.
No, that plays into our wheel well. And the one thing that actually does is play defense with us. If they get behind, then they have to stop giving the ball to Saquon Barkley, their most dangerous offensive weapon. So that's an offensive way to play defense right here. Another way to do that is matriculate the ball down the field, have your long, worn-out drives, 10-play, 11-play, 12-play drives, forcing that offense to watch the game.
That'd be nice to see. All right, well, when it's all said and done tonight, you and I talking on the radio.
Yeah.
Post-game show afterwards on the Commanders
Hopefully
Radio
we're
Network.
Celebrating.
Hopefully celebrating at Craft House and Wrestling if you want to come on out and see us. But, yeah, should be a lot of fun. And New Orleans in 2 weeks would be amazing if this team could keep this run going. But we will be with you whether we're celebrating or crying in our drinks after the game. Either way, but more likely celebrating.
Tears go where with drinks?
That's right. We'll send it back up to the link to Brian and the guys.
Shout out to Scott, Fred, and Sean for holding it down out in Ashburn. And you know what? Northwest Stadium, home of the Washington Commanders, is the place to be in the DMV. While the Commanders make their playoff run, now is the time to secure the hottest ticket in town. Select your season ticket seat today to guarantee the best seat location, score early member pricing, and receive gold member benefits for 2025, including year-round events. Learn more today at commanders.com/season tickets. That's commanders.com/season tickets. Now we are getting close to kickoff from out here in Philly, which means we got V-Bitch's Big 3 on the way. Oh my gosh, my hands are so cold. I'm going to try to warm up during this break. It's Command Center Game Day Live, presented by SeatGeek. Yes.
Hold on. New Bet365 customers get how much? That can't be right.
It's true. Join Bet365 today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. You could spend them on bets like the spread, totals, run line, and player props.
Well, there you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
It was like the entire team at Northwest Federal Credit Union was invested in my future and the success of this business. When I tell you I'm a loyal client, it doesn't even begin to say it.
Love this? Then you'll really like this. Because it leads to this. While this leads to this. This and this. 100% verified NFL tickets only from Ticketmaster. Take it to the house every time. Ticketmaster, official marketplace of the NFL.
Driving the Nissan Kicks with intelligent all-wheel drive is like the best seat in the house. See why it's been named a Consumer Guide Best Buy for 4 years in a row. Drive the all-new reimagined Nissan Kicks today.
Get 4.49% financing for 60 months on Kicks, one of 6 Nissan vehicles with starting MSRP under $30,000.
Nissan, proud partner of the Washington Commanders.
Hail to the Commanders!
Is my head really that shape? Probably just impressionism. Wait, is he a genius? Should we start saving for our school?
When your questions about life turn into questions about money, there's Erica, the virtual financial assistant to help you spend, save, and plan smarter. Only from Bank of America. What would you like the power to do?
Remember what you would have did to me in these shoes, in this tunnel right now to go out there and pray for the whole world. In front of the whole world. Don't need to be afraid of the moment. Fear ain't from the Lord, from the enemy. Do not fear your heart. Fear ain't from the God.
Welcome back into Command Center Game Day Live, presented by SeatGeek. We are less than 30 minutes away from kicking off this NFC Championship game from out here in Philly. Now, it's time to secure the game, presented by Cogniair Technology. Secure today, shape tomorrow. Now, let's take a look at that 1990 wild card victory over the Eagles. That was in 1990. We won 20-6 to go on to the divisional round. And head coach Joe Gibbs was there for all of it. He wasn't just there for that. He's here for this. Welcoming in one of the greatest head coaches in the history of the game.
Yes, Lord.
Mr. Joe Gibbs. Joe, you see all these fans out here. You see all this burgundy and gold. How special is this moment for you?
Yeah, it's great. This atmosphere is fantastic. These two guys know I'm probably not the best coach ever.
No, you are.
You are,
They
man.
kept me in the job with great plays. So that's the truth.
Hey, Coach, we came in this stadium many a time, well, to the vet, and it's always been tough competition, but they're loud. What do you remember about everybody talk about the body bag game when we came back in the playoffs? You said we'll see them again and we'll knock them out, and then we do that.
Yeah, well, the body bag game was for real. This guy wound up our quarterback. We knocked 2 of them out, and that was a no joke. That was serious stuff. Yeah. But we did come back in the playoffs. It was great. I love coming here from the standpoint, this is legitimate, big-time football.
Yeah, sir.
These guys are great fans, and so it's great coming here and having them. I wish we'd get them in another division. Out the NFC East, man.
No
we
doubt.
need that.
Coach, I'm going to put you on the spot for a moment. I love when you got in front of our teams and always talked and gave us that little something just to go out there and play for. What would you tell this team? You know, one of the things you always say that stood out to me, you always say, hey, you know, God made me a coach for a reason because I wasn't able to go out there and play like you guys. What would be your message today to these guys when they brace this field?
This is such a rare thing to get to the championship game like this. What I would say to them is, hey, look, every play, you don't know which one is going to be the play.
Yeah.
Probably in this game today, there'll be 1 or 2 plays that make the difference.
Yep.
You're not going to know. So give it everything you got on every single play. And I think that's what you guys did when we were playing. You're giving it everything you got, and you make a great play at this point. That's what will happen today if somebody's going to go to the Super Bowl.
No,
Yes, sir, man. And that's somebody is going to be us. And a lot of that has to do with our rookie quarterback. Speaking into existence, baby. We're positive here. Our rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels. This is his first time on this stage. What are you expecting to see from him, and how much have you enjoyed watching him be our quarterback?
I got to tell you, it is a rare. This is something that's hard to do, what they've done. And to think about what he's done.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I haven't seen one emotion on his face yet. I'm saying, hey, what's the deal? And, you know, I think his answer was, I'm prepared.
Yeah. There you go.
He comes in early, he's prepared. Whatever. It's hard to get, you know, plays like this, particularly out of a rookie. And to get to this point, what the heck? You know, let's go on to the Super Bowl.
Coach, thank you for everything. Here. If it's not for the things you've done on that field, thank you, Coach, so much. We really appreciate you. Now, one thing you get to witness right now, right? We're about to do a live look. We're going to show the link, but what I'm going to tell you right now is your boy B-Man, he done got really good at this media stuff. He even has his own segment called B-Mitch's Big 3. It's time for B-Mitch's Big 3, presented by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. He's definitely not chill, Jay. Our first one is playing complimentary football. Something I'm sure Joe gets to talk to you about a lot. How important is that in today's game? Thanks, Coach.
Well, I think it's very important today because what happens is we talk so much about our offense, but our defense has to be doing things too. And what I mean by complimentary football is defense. Go out there, get the ball back for your offense. Yeah. Offense, keep your defense on the side so they can be rested when they go against that offense.
And B, the next one is very, very simple. Do your job.
Yeah, do your job. The whole thing about it is you get to this big moment and you want to try and do somebody else's job. You want to make the big moment. No, just do what you're supposed to do. And if everybody does that to a man, good things happen.
In this last one, you channeled your inner Santana Moss. Win the turnover.
Yes, Lord.
You can't win the game by giving the ball to somebody else. So let them give it to us, and we keep it. Don't give it back to them.
Hey, man, look at Tanner this whole time. He looks as cold as I feel. My man is so ready to go. So, fellas, we are almost done with the show. But last thing is always, because we can't break tradition, how y'all feeling? Just moments away from kickoff. Y'all final thoughts in today's game.
After seeing Coach Gibbs, I feel even better.
Oh,
yes,
man.
That was great.
Let's go get this thing today.
Oh, man. I feel like that Monday night again, man. Coach Gill got a way of talking to you, man, and it just does something to you, man.
I don't know if it's this cold weather
I'm
or
ready
him,
to play.
but I have the chills. We are all ready to get out on this field. Commanders family, remember, we'll be back for post-game live, celebrating a huge victory out here in Philly. For Santana Moss, Brian Mitchell, London Fletcher, Logan Paulson, Brand Weinstein, Coach Gibbs, Doug Williams, I am Brian Colbert Jr. This is Command Center Game Day Live, presented by SeatGeek. Let's get this win over Philly, baby. It's our time. Why not us?
Stand up.
They have a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, a new special teams coordinator, about 15 different veterans that signed as free agents that no one else wanted, and they just beat the #1 seed in their building, and they did so by going for it.
Your reputation. What are they gonna say about your name? What are they gonna say about your reputation? What are they gonna say when they turn that film on? I know what they're gonna say about me. I'm gonna ride out. I know what they're gonna say about y'all. They're gonna say something. Dogs. We some dogs, man. Let's get it. Be who you say you are, man.
Up top, Terry pushes it in. Big run for a first down.
Oh, look at this. Eckler. Room to roll.
Oh, Mike Sanders still. Still going. Morton, pick six. Washington pulls it away. Through an end zone. Touchdown. Washington for Brown. He's got.
Washington's playing its best football of the year.